you can actually fully see the body of a kid on the black dress of the Black Widow, because before that, it would be just the center of the body, and then everything else is invisible. Hi guys, my name is Dante, and welcome back to the Black Widow. So we just keep going from what we stopped at in the previous episode, and one thing I want to add before we actually start working with black and white spots is adding this one hanging kid over here, and well, maybe this one as well. Also, as I think of it, maybe this one in here. And that will be enough. It looks like a proper composition of the main kids, and the rest of them will be added just in color with abstraction, approach, whatever that is. And this video's sponsor is a new tutorial on Yiihuu.com. It's called Level Up Your Digital Painting Skills, Beginner to Advanced, and its author is an extremely talented and highly professional artist known as Fishman. I think his art style and skill level speaks for itself. He's got over 8 years of experience in the industry, including game design, comic books, and game cards and illustrations. Now, this tutorial is a huge one. I actually learned a lot and actually changed some of my perspectives on working with textures. You guys know I mostly use textures just as canvas textures. While in this tutorial, you'll learn how to use textures for actual textures of objects, imitating actual materials. And that's only a small part of it. There's also a huge section about photo bashing and matte painting. So Fishman is apparently very awesome at using photo bashing, using actual photo elements to complement the concept design of his characters. It looks pretty impressive. Aside from that, you're getting a whole lot of tips and tricks about using layers, blending modes, and generally the way you should set up your workspace in the real world and in Photoshop. Right now, this huge 31-hour tutorial costs just $49, and when it will be fully released, it will jump up to its real price of $109. So if any of you guys are interested, the affiliate link is in the description. Yeah, also, just now I removed the nest because it was a very dumb nest. When I looked at it, it really looks bad. Like this. Why are all the holes looking at us? It looks so flat and doesn't mean anything. There's too much of them. Why are there so many doors? Where are the actual rooms, you know? They need to be more like bubbles with little holes in them or something like that. So we'll see about that. Maybe I'll search it in the sketch. Maybe I'll do it, you know, the background. Maybe it makes sense to search that already in colors or in black and white spots, but not in outlines. So yeah, let's go ahead and add a couple of kids. Also, some of you in the comments said that maybe we should rework the Black Widow a little bit. Maybe bring her face a bit closer to this original thumbnail. But of course, not by distorting her face, but more of a like bringing her closer to this style. Right now, this looks a bit different. Like her face is really round, and it would kind of look cooler if it would be more of a slimmer face, maybe something like that. And we'll fix the angle on the belly. Many of you guys said that since the torso is like that, the belly also needs to, like, the belly button shouldn't be here, it should be probably here with all the consequences of that. Probably gonna be a bit more of the mass here, a bit less of it here. So let's start. I wanna make that progress. Alright, so something like this for the kids. Decided to make a pair of guys in here fighting over a piece of meat. This guy going all special with his pose, and this girl is kind of patiently waiting for the mother to give the meat, I guess. So that's good enough. Like, I'll fill it up, all the blank areas between the kids. There will be like more kids showing up. There will be another one in here, pretty much everywhere. There's more of them, especially some of you guys said I mostly drew like teens. Well, smaller kids are lower, so there will be like behind. Like, this is a smaller kid as well, and someone will be in here as well somehow. But that's like, I wanna make a special dynamic brushwork in here that will make things very weird and just flowing. Hopefully, I have no idea if I'll be able to pull it off, but I really want to. So let's do a couple of fixes for the widow, and then we'll do some spotting with the spots. Okay, that's pretty good for now. It's really hard for me to like evaluate anything. You saw it, right? I did the face a little bit slimmer. It will still like change a lot when I'll turn it into actual spots. So I don't go too much into it. It just needs to have proper anatomy, proper angles, and proper pose. But the little details of what the face looks like, it will still change a lot, so whatever. But yeah, I turned the belly. I think it looks better this way. I hope. I'm not 100% on that. But this is what we go with for now. I don't know, the nest, let's make it more subtle so it will be just sort of a secondary thing, maybe. Like, it will be there, but like mostly in the darker areas and not so much covering half of the building. So you would kind of only see it when you look a bit closer. Like the next couple of seconds as you look at the picture, then you notice that in the background, there's so much more going on. That kind of feeling. Because otherwise it looked like a giant piece of cheese all over the picture, kind of weird. Yeah, I think it will look better with like a darker ceiling in there, and generally it won't change the brightness of the picture, like that spot will overall be the same. Okay, now let's see what we can do. I'm like experimenting here, trying to find the best approach. I really tried to kind of follow the Livia Prima tutorial that I promoted before. A really cool like Asian digital art style and a concept design of a character. And in there, that's where I got inspired to try this black and white and colorize in the middle of the process approach. So this is where I'm going for. And the biggest challenge, the biggest like question to me is, to which point should I detail the black and white version before I switch to color? Now, Livia in her tutorial, she merges the sketch with the black and white spots and kind of works on all of it together. But my sketch is like super precise and sharp. It feels like merging this kind of like drawing, sharp drawing, with the black and white spots would just create a mess, and I would lose most of the details because most of them are like super dark black. I don't know, man. I tried before some time ago to go with like merging sketch with colors and working from there. And I only noticed that for me personally, it just greatly increases the amount of time I spend on the artwork, because I just fight the lines of the drawing. Instead of just working on the spots, I try to like cover them, hide them. What's the point? Like, I don't like that. I guess that's because my sketches are really sharp and precise a lot of the time. So they're not really sketches, they're like drawing. So a bit of a like softer, thicker, and more transparent lines defining everything more loosely, those would really fit well into just merging that with color. But I didn't really, like the way I did the background closer to that, but a bit like more transparently. Well, it was more transparent initially. It was like this, so yeah, this kind of lines, it would work with merging. But then I went ahead and defined characters this way, very precise. Yeah, I still have a lot to learn in terms of like this, what I should be going for in each stage of developing the picture. Like thumbnails, nose, I think I nailed it pretty well. But when it comes to the sketch, how to make the sketch like the most useful for the future painting, that's the big question. But yeah, so far I have to deal with what I have. I think it's not a disaster that I won't be merging my sketch with the painting, I think. So yeah, let's go ahead and work from this. I wonder if I need to like push the old colors, or should I just start from scratch? It feels like it would be like this thumbnail thing. Initially, it was to search the composition, to search what we're going for at all. And now it served its purpose. And we can go ahead and start over with clean colors following the precise sketch. So I think I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna like turn off the texture at all. I wanna have some kind of like a cleaner art style, a bit sharper. Yeah, like more of a harsh circle, but maybe just fuzzy enough to kind of hide the steps, the digital steps. Maybe something like this. Like when the brush strokes are big, it will be like soft like this, but when you make them smaller, they will be sharper and sharper. I think that's just about the way it should be. Maybe even keep it that soft version, right? Because that literally works out in terms of a scale of the brush. Yeah, when I'm working with a really big round brush, I probably don't know exactly what the outline should be, so it makes sense to keep it kind of soft at that point. Anyway, let's define that range of brightness, I guess. I don't know. I'll start with like softer spots and then start defining what's going on inside of them. Oh, also, by the way, let's apply that feature that is really cool in Photoshop. This time, let's go with the gradient map, actually, inspired with the new version of Procreate and all that, I guess. I'll make it like, well, it's best to keep things in color mode, so we wouldn't actually affect the brightnesses of the image. If you guys don't know what I'm talking about, in one of the episodes before, I did a thing in an overpaint episode where you can apply some kind of real-time adjustment layer to get like more interesting colors while you're still working with black and white pictures, because the color picker, the eyedropper tool, is in the current and below mode for me, like I'm using it in this mode, which means when you're picking colors from this layer, it will only be working with whatever's going on in these two layers, the current one and below. So if we have an adjustment layer on top, altering our colors into this nice teal to kind of an orange color, it won't be affected. So right now, if I'll be painting around, you see it's very colorful, but if I'll be picking up colors, it's pure gray. So you can actually keep working with black and white spots while they will actually appear on the screen with a bit of an interesting color gamut, showing some interesting mood with the colors. So that's kind of cool. It doesn't really affect the result. Maybe a little bit if you're like you feel more clearly what you're going for, but like I'll be adjusting this gradient as I'm keep working. Like I'll come back to this layer and tweak the colors a bit here and there as I will be developing that color gamut at the same time as I'm working on the spots, on the contrast. So that's really cool. Let's search the spots. Alright. Yeah, I did it. I inverted the faces, the heads of the kids. Mostly, the body of a kid will be white, with pure black eyes and kind of dirty hands, but it will mostly like closer to dirty fingers, not the way we had in the original concept where, well, only the center part of the kid is white and everything else is like black. I could go with this concept, but it looks cool when it's on its own, but when there's a crowd, they really just turn into this mess of spots. Again, I think I could make it work, but I would have to sort of tone down the contrast between the black parts and the white ones. So instead, I actually want to go for like strong colors, so they will be like super pale white. So we're going with the opposite to be able to keep the very aggressive color scheme. That's the way I see it. So I think it's gonna be really interesting. The fact that the kids now, you can actually fully see the body of a kid on the black dress of the Black Widow, because before that, it would be just the center of the body, and then everything else is invisible. Or not invisible, but just so close to the color of the dress that it would be just unfortunate. So I'm thinking this is gonna be a much better deal. Really important to maintain the proper values, like the global values at the moment are the most important for me. So making sure that like the brightest spot on this darker, more of a centered kid is nowhere near the brightest spot of like that kid over there or in here. Kinda. I think I still need to like make that stronger, maybe? Yeah, I definitely should. Like dim down these front kids, because front kids are closer to the center, meaning they're further away from the windows. They should kind of be darker. Alright, so that's the plan. Kind of feeling a bit more confident now about what I'm going for. This is like this is the way I'm used to search for everything, but right now I also have a secret weapon of a precise sketch, which is really cool. So yeah, I'll just keep on looking for them values. Also, I think the next drawing episode will also be Black Widow. Not the next week, but the week after that. Because I want to get closer to this, a bit more involved, because taking really long pauses between the episodes really like throws me out of it. And right now I really feel like I don't want to do that. I want to stay here and just experiment with the approach, with the values, with the composition. I'm still doing it actually, like changing things here and there, adding more kids, which are a huge tool in this case for altering the picture, and the ceiling is gonna be a huge deal as well. But like at this level of detail, it's hard to imagine like bring the nest to the ceiling right now. But I think in the next episode, we'll already be able to define it. So yeah, this is it for today. Thank you guys for watching. Tell me what you think, because I'm not sure what I'm thinking right now as well. I don't know why I'm so just unconscious about all of this. This is a weird thing. I think it's mostly because of the long pauses. We need to like speed things up. But yeah, this is it. I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye! What about the previous version? Oh, well, this is very different. Much more nuanced values in here that we have like shades of gray on the kids. Makes things a lot more solid and real and present. Compared to this, which is like, is this like some kind of a concert or something? Why is everything so blown out? And that's because I was trying really hard to go for the black and white scheme of the kids, like these black heads everywhere and really white bodies. We're really losing the Widow though in the new version, so maybe I'll introduce more of that aerial perspective behind her, the way it was in the thumbnail. So, and it like makes sense because a lot of people in one room, there's a lot of like thick air and a whole lot of light going on. So, but I also had this thing where it was like kind of a cool idea that the Widow sort of disappears, like her dress disappears, but then we see like a striking white face. I don't know, we'll see where it goes.